Closing speech by HR VP Kaja Kallas following today's European Parliament Plenary Session, ahead of the upcoming NATO Summit taking place from 24 to 26. In her address, she highlights key discussions, the EU's strategic priorities, and the importance of unity and defense cooperation among member states. Okay, let's practice our speech.
Thank you, honourable members, for this very intensive debate. I will just react on a few things. Of course, we need public support for these steps. We need to explain to our people why we have to do this, and why we also need to make sacrifices. The problem with defence spending is when you need it, it's too late. You have to make these investments when you are in peacetime. And then it's actually much harder to explain to the people that why we need this. Of course, as politicians, we have so many places that we want to put the public money into. Education, social affairs, roads, you name it, infrastructure. There is so much. But if we don't have defense, and if we have the threats also pointed out by our intelligence service, and we don't take those threats seriously, then all the investments that we do in any other field actually will become in vain. And when we make defense investments, then it would also function as a deterrence, which means that hopefully the war is not coming to Europe. Now, NATO is a defense alliance, and I don't agree with those who are spreading the Russian narratives that, NATO enlargement is somehow threatening somebody. Why are these countries wanting to join NATO? Why did Finland and Sweden join now? Because of the threat coming from Russia. NATO is a defense alliance, and that's why it is the only thing that actually protects us, because together we are strong. Now, when it comes to NATO having the military plans, and then EU having the plans for the defense industry, it is to complement these two institutions. It is to, like many of you said, not about the numbers, but actually the capabilities. What do we do with this money? And there I also echo what was said by many members here, is that we need joint projects, we need joint procurement. We need to do these things together, because we need to also address the threats that we have together. Not, national security, but actually the security of us all together. So, there was also a question of, against whom these weapons are used that we are buying. I mean, it's like, you having a security system at home. You don't need it unless somebody breaks in. So this is exactly the same. You don't need those weapons unless somebody attacks you. And like I said in my speech, as Russia is spending so much more on military, they will want to use it. And against whom they want to use it? Well, there are, of course, many options, but we have to make sure that this is not against us, and it's also that it's stopping there. Then on the defense spending, we have a lot to learn from Ukraine, and I agree with those who said that it doesn't have to be only about enriching the defense industry. No, if we look at Ukraine, they have built the defense industry from zero, from scratch. So actually, bringing also the costs down, using much shorter procurement times, and we need to learn from there. Also, I want to address the issue of peace. Everybody in Europe wants peace. Europe is a peace project. We all agree on that, but we very clearly see right now the talks about the ceasefire that Russia doesn't want peace. And it takes at least 2 to want peace, but it only takes 1 to want war. And that is why we need to prepare. So we are living in dangerous times, and in order to have peace, you need to prepare for this. And I also want to address our Irish colleagues. I mean, yes, peace doesn't mean that the human suffering will stop. If, you surrender, you have the aggressor, and you say, okay, take all what you want, then it doesn't mean that the human suffering will stop. I mean, our experience behind the Iron Curtain after the Second World War, countries like Ireland get to build up their prosperity, but for us it meant, atrocities, mass deportations, suppressing your culture and language. This is what happens. It is also peace, but it's actually not freedom. It's not freedom of choice for people. And that is what the European Union is all about, and that is what we are also fighting for. Russia. Somebody said here that Russia has no reason to attack NATO. Well, Russia didn't have any reason to attack Ukraine either, or Syria, or Georgia, or the list is long. So they are not acting rationally, and we are democracies. We look through this democracy prism that it's not rational. They wouldn't do that. It's not rational to attack NATO. Well, we can't think because. We can't think how they think, and we need to prepare and learn from our past mistakes. And the past mistakes we have made in history. Many of you also mentioned this. I mean, there's not a lot and very far to see. And what I want to stress to all of those representatives coming from countries that are much further from Russia, look at the world map. Europe is a very small continent. Whatever happens in one part of Europe has an effect on us all. And we are only strong when we act together, in NATO, when we act together in Europe. A stronger European Union is also a stronger NATO. Thank you.
Let's learn words and phrases to explore. Geopolitical, AG, relating to politics, especially international relations, as influenced by geographical factors. Example from the text: the geopolitical situation has shifted so dramatically. Transatlantic unity, N. Cooperation and solidarity between countries on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, primarily North America and Europe. Example from the text: but Russia's threat to transatlantic unity and security is a problem for us all. Imperialism, N. A policy of extending a country's power and influence through diplomacy or military force. Example from the text: those of us with a history of Soviet imperialism feel it the most. Collective economic might, N. The total combined economic power of a group of countries. Example from the text: Europe's collective economic might is unmatched. Ramping up, phrasal verb, increasing the level or amount of something sharply. Example from the text: the NATO Summit is first and foremost about ramping up defense spending. Multiannual, AG, lasting for several years. Example from the text: contracts are multiannual so the industry gets the predictability it needs. Joint procurement, N. The process where two or more organizations purchase goods or services together to achieve better value or efficiency. Example from the text: they focus on joint procurement which will push industry to scale up quickly. Atrocities, N. Extremely wicked or cruel acts, typically involving physical violence or injury. Example from the text: for us it meant atrocities, mass deportations, suppressing your culture and language. Tough resolve, N. Strong determination or firmness in purpose, especially in the face of difficulty. Example from the text: tough times require tough resolve. In vain, phrase, without success, fruitlessly. Example from the text: all the investments that we do in any other field actually will become in vain. Finally, let's hear the main point in this speech. The speech also mentions several key institutions and concepts you may want to ensure you fully understand: NATO, the European Parliament, EP, HR, VP, High Representative, Vice President, GDP, Gross Domestic Product, and the Iron Curtain. Thank you for watching. If you think this video is important, please share, like, and subscribe to my channel.